when you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost. Everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Coming up to the near halfway point of the season, the Super Speedway is behind us. We now look forward to the Monster Mile here in Dover, Delaware for round number 8 of the USRA TickleZombie.com Truck Series right here on ESBN. Good evening, everybody. My name is Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for making us a part of your evening here tonight. Alongside me, as always, my broadcast partner, Tony Trapasso. Tony, big wreck at the end of the first stage last week. Took a lot of guys out of a chance of having a good finish. Some guys towards the top of the points coming down, getting a little bit closer. Tonight is a chance for those guys to really try to recover.
Yeah, absolutely. And more importantly, it's a chance for those guys that have gained that momentum over the past 3 or 4 weeks to, really put the screws to the guys that they're reeling in or catching. The guys that had the good early season success. Now it's go time.
It absolutely is. And the point scenario that we have here, we know Randy Bechdel finishing just inside the top 15 last week, didn't get a stage win. Evan Pienta didn't get a stage win. He finished towards the front. We saw the finishing order. Jeff Pogo, his second win in the last 3 weeks. Jonny Rapp and Chris Smith rounding out the podium for the second time this season, the two of them being on the podium together. Some guys had a very, very good points night coming out of Talladega.
Yeah, absolutely. And the guy that really impressed me the most is the driver of the number 9, Stephen Holmes. I mean, he had a great run going, and just that last lap kind of gremlin thing came up and got him again. But mark my words, Stephen Holmes is due.
Yep, he absolutely is due. Another guy who appears to be due is the 52 of Jonny Rapp. He was second place on the timing pylon for quite some time, was that number 52. He is currently sitting at the top of the board right now at a 22.93 as his time, as we're getting through the final bits of practice here. And we look at the snap-on number 4 of Jeff Pogo. He won at Milwaukee, won at Talladega, 2 of the last 3 races. This one, we saw how good he was here last year. He loves this place, looking to get his 3rd win on the season.
And that would be, throwing down the gauntlet. We know Pogo can drive on a vast array of tracks. If he gets the luck to fall his way again tonight, that's going to be making a statement to the rest of the field. Very much like we've seen Randy Bechdel do in the past of, if you want the championship, you got to go through me. And Pogo's looking forward to this one, and I'm looking forward to seeing if he can continue that momentum that he's got.
And you go back to Milwaukee, flat 1 mile long turns. That track really played into his favor last week and last season as well. We're going to another very similar racetrack next week at New Hampshire to round out the month of March here on ESPN. This is a nice little string of 5 consecutive races for Pogo. If it wasn't for the bad finishes at the beginning of the season, he could very well be right in the thick, if not leading this points battle right now.
You're absolutely right. And, it's, if it wasn't for the way the season opener went, I think we'd be talking about a completely different story right now. But, of course, the start of the season, Randy Bechdel doing Randy Bechdel things, and that's what you have.
And for Pogo, looking back at his numbers, he was 3rd going into the race at Talladega, finished 3rd at Vegas, 13th at Kansas, 9th at Auto Club, and 14th at Phoenix. Those were 3 really bad races to round out pretty much an abysmal month of February to open up this season for that number 4 ride, and starting now to climb back up through the points.
Absolutely. And, right now, the way the season's shaking out, you got 2 guys with 2 wins apiece. Pogo being one of them, the other one being Randy Bechdel. But if you take a look at the last 3 races, Bechdel hasn't really had the points finishes that we would expect. So, the fact that Pogo's currently sitting 3rd in points, there's still a lot of racing left to do. But, and also don't count out Evan Pienta. He hasn't had the finishes that have been indicative of the runs he's been having.
Absolutely. He has had a very good car this season, and we know what he can do at certain racetracks as the season comes along. First driver out on track is the number 5, the 25 of Scott Tompkins in that Poblocki machine. He was another guy that got caught up in the melee at the end of the first stage at Talladega. Appeared to have a very good truck there. And you want to talk about guys who are due. Scott Tompkins has had an abysmal year this season. None of it really his fault.
He ran into the same situation last year. Had a good opening couple of races, and then things just went right in the toilet for about 2/3 of the season. And then he started to turn things around towards the end. And the aforementioned Scott Thompson, 23:02 current quick time.
Yep, set a very good time there. He's not going to have the same success on this lap. Here comes Jeff Pogo on his second. Pogo with a 23.22 his last time around. And Pogo gets up to a 23.10. That's good enough to equal Ellis Thomas for the second position. Actually, 2/1000ths of a second off of Ellis Thomas's time. Here comes Randy Bechdel, current points leader.
Bechdel was 8 different kinds of sideways when he came to the stripe on that last lap. The previous lap.
23.20 for Randy Bechdel. Stephen Holmes, fastest of all on the first half of the racetrack. Let's see what he could do here. Up to P4. Oh, no, up to pole. 22.98 for the 9.
What did I tell you? He's due.
Another guy who appears to be due, Evan Pienta, fastest of all the first half of the lap. Second half of the lap puts him 8/100ths of a second off. Pienta up to third.
And he still has one more lap to get it done. A little bit of a wiggle coming out of 2 for the 00. And he's hit something.
Might have done. Jamie Leach up to second. And very slow on that second lap for Evan Pienta, at least compared to his first. Jamie Leach up to the second position during that time. Tommy Cannon jumps up to 5th on his qualifying lap. Ryan Jones working on his first time lap. 3 drivers on track right now. Chris Brown, Ryan Jones, Dan Dill. And Ryan
Rapp,
Jones
52.
hard into the inside wall.
Ouch.
After the first lap. And doesn't set a time.
That's going to the backup truck.
Absolutely.
The good news is it's a short field tonight.
Dan Dill in the 11 on his second lap. Still wandering up the track a little bit in 3 and 4, trying to diamond the corner as you do here at Dover. And Dill will go from 14th up to 13th on his lap. Chris Brown settles in 4th in the 136.
Johnny Rapp coming around to finish his first flyer.
Yeah, purple first sector, second half. Purple again, 24.94. And that was just the first lap.
Yeah. But he was about inch perfect on that lap, 22.95. That's going to be rough to beat.
But even he won't be able to beat it.
No.
Coming to the line.
Oh, my God.
Just about matched it, though.
Yeah.
22.96 on the second lap. So Chris Smith, Chase Barry, and Mike Mock are the only 3 drivers that did not set a qualifying time in this session. And with the session effectively over, Jonny Rapp collects his first pole of the season.
A good solid run, too.
Yep, that's another guy who's been coming on really strong here as of late.
Has not had the finishes, though, that have been indicative of the performance that he's had.
Usually,
but I'm looking at the top 5 position, top 6 positions, and even 7 and 8. You take a look at your top 8. There's 8 guys that are due right there. Johnny Rapp, Steve Holmes, Jamie Leach, Scott Tompkins, Chris Brown, Evan Pienta, Tommy Cannon, Ellis Thomas. All those guys are due.
Jonny Rapp usually having 1 up finish, 1 down finish. We'll get to that in a minute. But as we look at the grid here for tonight, Jonny Rapp puts it on pole. A 22.947, good enough for his first pole of the season. Stephen Holmes, 3/100ths of a second off, the only 2 drivers to put it sub 23. Jamie Leach and Scott Tompkins will make up row number 2. Chris Brown and Evan Pienta will sit in row 3. Tommy Cannon and Ellis Thomas will make up row 4, with Jeff Pogo and Randy Bechdel sitting together in row 5.
Paul Thomas and Chandler Summers are going to roll off in row number 6. Row 7 sees Chris Hone and Eric Wright. Dan Dill and Larry Poling going to start off in row 8. Poling, the last one to post a time in qualifying. The rest of the field going to be lined up via their iRating, and that is going to give us Ryan Jones and Chase Berry in row 9. Row 10 going to Mike Mock with Chris Smith starting shotgun on the field. 20 trucks scheduled to roll off here tonight. No fast repairs, 70% fuel fill, and only 3 sets of tires to get them through 200 laps. But Frank, that weather's got me concerned.
And we'll take a look at that here in just a moment as we look through, and here comes that weather condition that you are so concerned about. 74 degree ambient temperature, 110 degree track temperature, and I'm sure it's the gusting winds around 10 miles an hour is what you're looking at.
Very much so. And the fact that that wind is a crosswind coming out of 2. So as they transition past the grandstand on the exit of 2, they're going to get hit with that crosswind right where the track starts to narrow up. Expect turn 2 to be Calamity Corner tonight.
It usually is, because that backstretch wall does come up at you, and it comes up at you fairly quickly as the trucks begin to roll off. As we get set to go for 200 laps here from the newly minted Dover Motor Speedway. Just talking about this track has gone through so many name changes over the course of its life. When I started watching NASCAR in the mid-90s, it was Dover Downs, then it was Dover International, Dover Raceway, Dover International Speedway, and now with the purchase of MSI, Dover Motor Speedway. It's many different names, but the danger of this track has remained the same.
Yeah, very much so. High banks, concrete, tough to get around, tough to tame. As the field works its way through the 3-4 complex, pace car getting ready to duck on off. The only thing that's left to say for me is wipe the visor, adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, pop some popcorn, because it's time to get it on at the Monster Mile. Race fans, it's showtime!
Set 200 laps. Green flag is in the air. Jonny Rapp gets out to that early race lead. The dive off into turn number 1. And Tony, to your start, Grandma could do whatever the hell she wants.
True story.
We're all inclusive here.
Absolutely. Hats off to all the grandmas out there. Let us know if you're a grandma watching the broadcast right now. Give us a thumbs up if you are.
Let us know if you're popping Viagra as well.
Exactly.
It's Ellis Thomas starting to work.
Here's some mints for you, Granddad.
Yeah, there you go.
Why are they blue?
Don't worry about it. 7 Pienta up into 4th position already. Now, this is a racetrack a couple of years ago, going back to season 5. Pienta had a very good short run car, but then fell off dramatically, was able to make a correction last season. This year, looking to try to do the same thing, try to improve on the improvements he made last season.
Yeah, absolutely. And, if anybody can do it, it's definitely him, because, he's got the driver skill to be able to pull that off. Very fast learner, very hard-nosed racer. So, it's good to see him having some success early on in the season. Let's see if he can, get that breakthrough win this season.
Jonny Rapp starting to get up and get out as the race leader, almost a second to the good over Stephen Holmes. Chandler Summers has just waltzed on past the 51 of Randy Bechdel. Bechdel now coming under fire from the 42 of Paul Thomas right behind him. And Bechdel looks as though he's taking it easy here. Stage breaks tonight coming on laps 45 and 90, just shy of the pit window for these guys.
And Jonny Rapp's already getting into lap traffic.
Paul Thomas had a big slide coming off of turn 4. And that's Chris Smith that Jonny Rapp is getting to. Now, Chris Smith was one of the guys that ran afoul of the qualifying rule. As we had mentioned a couple of weeks ago, a rule was implemented that in qualifying you have to set a genuine qualifying attempt. If you don't, you must start from pit road, and that is what Chris Smith had to do. Started from pit road. He also started a couple of laps late, so he is 3 laps down now, trying to avoid going 4. Dan Dill also starting from the pit lane as well. He's just going his first lap down.
Chris Smith, the reason why he's a couple laps down is because he did have a throughput just as they were gridding.
There you go. So that's... And again, he was going to have to start from pit road anyway because of the qualifying rule.
Right.
Dan Dill started on pit road under his own volition.
Well, he had a connection issue at the end of qualifying, so.
Okay. So it's under his own volition.
he's not giving up right now as Rapp finally gets the clear after about 3 laps.
Now, Dill, understand why he's fighting, but still, he's the only car 1 lap down at the moment, is that number 11. Chris Brown getting passed up by Jeff Pogo on the inside line. 80 of Ellis Thomas there as well, and that outside line, especially coming out of turn 2, is a very precarious place to be if you're anybody. As Chris Brown Kokomo, Iowa falls to the back of this line down to 10th.
Yeah, absolutely. But, I mean, so far so good. Everybody kind of playing nice. Nobody really forcing the issue as Pogo and Cannon go side by side through 3 and 4. Cannon going to use that outside lane to try to carry some momentum. Does so effectively by about a truck length over Jeff Pogo. Pogo looks back to the inside going through 1 and 2.
It's another thing you're going to have to worry about here as this race goes on is guys pushing out a little bit towards those outside walls. They tend to pull the car down off the corner and tend to end up around the middle of the straightaway. That's what happened to Tommy Cannon just that last lap. You saw Pogo had to get out of it in order to keep from getting body checked by the 47. Yeah,
absolutely is. Here comes Ellis Thomas to the inside of the 47. Cannon's not having his own way of it right now. He's definitely not having a good time as he's already dropped a couple of spots since the green flags come out. But Pogo, a man on a mission right now, as he's now working on Scotty Tompkins going through 1 and 2.
Absolutely. Riding on board with Chandler Summers, we saw those 2 passes through the point of view of the number 12. Tompkins started 4th down to 6th. Jeff Pogo, the biggest mover of the race thus far, up 4 positions, and we're noticing very much like a super speedway, we have 2 distinct packs that have formed. Jonny Rapp has gotten out ahead with Dan Dill very closely in tow. Jonny Rapp is a 2.5 seconds ahead of Stephen Holmes, pardon me. Then it's from Holmes in 2nd all the way to 10th are right on top of each other. Then there's a 5.5 second break before you find this little group with Randy Bechdel, Eric Wright, Ryan Jones, and Paul Thomas in together. And then the rest of the guys, Chris Hone, Chase Barry, Mike Mock, Larry Poling, Dan Dill, Larry Poling, all sort of broken apart and separated from each other.
Right, and you know, you kind of you don't normally see that at a track like this, but you know, with the latest aero package that's come out for the trucks, with the latest tire model, horsepower model, you know, these trucks are handling different than these guys are used to, and you know, we're seeing who the new handling package is falling into their wheelhouse of, and who seems to be struggling. And I'll be straight with you, I'm surprised Randy Bechdel is outside the top 10 right now.
Yeah, outside of bonus point range. Didn't get any stage points last week at Talladega. Now, he does have the most stage wins out of anybody on the season. He has 5 stage wins on the season. His last stage win coming at Milwaukee 4 races ago at this point. So Bechdel is starting to fall off the train as far as his early season domination is going.
Yeah, that's not something you normally see, especially early in the season. You know, mid-season after he's got a few races under his belt and a few wins under his belt, yeah, you can take your foot off the accelerator at that point and get ready for the playoffs. But, to be struggling this early in the season.
When there are no playoffs.
You know what I meant.
Yes. Tommy Cannon trying to hold Scott Tompkins at bay. Meanwhile, the trio of Stephen Holmes, Jamie Leach, and Jeff Pogo are getting quite friendly with each other. As Jamie Leach now has Pogo to his inside, and nothing is really keeping Pogo from moving up through this field here. He's already up to third place after starting in ninth, +6 for the driver of the 4, and Leach really had to back off to keep it out of the wall, almost run over by Ellis Thomas.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Thomas saw what Pogo was doing. He followed him through, and I don't think Leach knew he was coming. He saw Pogo, but I don't think he realized Thomas was where he was. And, that's what you had happen is, these guys are picking it up and laying it down. It's Pogo right on the tailgate of his teammate right now. That is Stephen Holmes in the TickleZombie.com, number 9 Ford F-150. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Pogo switching to a Toyota has helped.
And he switched. When did he switch? He switched at Milwaukee, did he not?
Correct.
Won Milwaukee. Finished top 3. Oh, no, finished top 5 at Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
Get to the exact finishing position here in just a moment. Finished in 4th at Charlotte. Won at Talladega last week and is marching up through the field right now, already up into the second position, just 25 laps into this race. Evan Pienta looking to follow Pogo through, just couldn't quite get the move on Stephen Holmes.
Holmes was able to close that door, but here comes Pienta, who was looking on the inside going into 3, didn't have quite the room. Gonna have to get that figured out pretty quick, because Jamie Leach wants to climb back through this field.
Yep, absolutely. Ellis Thomas right there as well in that number 80. Scott Tompkins still has gotten ahead of Tommy Cannon. Look here, this is the pass for position a couple of laps ago that got Scott Tompkins up into that 7th position. Cannon walks way up the hill in 1 and 2. Tompkins right on the bottom, able to get around.
As Pogo throws it to the inside of Holmes, going through 1 and 2, gonna get that move done, and
Pienta,
that is
right?
Ellis
It's Pienta.
Pienta, sorry, working the inside of Holmes, as Thomas working on Leach.
Pienta gets Holmes, Thomas gets Leach.
Absolutely, as Pogo is still reeling in Johnny Rapp, as Rapp is still dealing with the 11 of Dan Dill, who's gotten his lap back the hard way.
Yep, Dill has worked his way around that number 52.
And something's happened to Paul Thomas.
Paul Thomas has been having he's come down pit road. We saw him have a blink before. We saw him have a big loose moment before. And you can see by the graphic on screen right now, Jeff Pogo is reeling Johnny Rapp in hand over fist right now. Pulled a full quarter of a second back on that number 52.
Back on lap 23, Paul Thomas narrowed that truck up by about 2 feet.
Well, there you go. Try to find that here in just a moment. As Johnny Rapp and Dan Dill getting quite close to each other. Now this is the part of racing. Sorry, this is the part of racing that I know can get kind of a gray area, because I'm sure as the leader, Johnny Rapp wants the 11 out of the way. But the 11 has shown throughout this entire run that he has the same pace as the 52.
Right.
He's got as much right to race as anybody else, does he not?
He does. As long as he doesn't do anything crazy. But it's got to be frustrating if you're Johnny Rapp going, come on, man. Pogo's coming. Let me get by you.
It doesn't help that the 11 and 4 are teammates at Gateway Motorsports, so that's certainly playing into it a little bit as well.
I didn't want to mention that, but yeah, you're absolutely right.
Well, you know.
But what was a 2-second gap from Rapp to Pogo is now down to just under a second.
Yes, it is. Stephen Holmes, we saw him in third position not that long ago. He has fallen down to seventh. Battling now with Tommy Cannon. Chris Brown would be about the farthest he'll fall, as some guys are starting to make pit stops here. Mike Mock is in. Mock, I think, has also shortened that car up a little bit, because he is down pit road and has been for a minute trying to repair damage.
Yeah, he did. He pounded the turn 4 wall.
And again, as I said during the pre-race, it's not hard to do here. These walls, especially turn 2, comes up at you really, really quick if you're not ready for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good thing and it's a bad thing. You know, yes, this track for the most part is self-cleaning, but the bad news is going down both straightaways, there's absolutely no place to take evasive action.
Absolutely. Seeing Eric Wright hang on to the back of Randy Bechdel. Now, Eric Wright had his best stage finish of the season last week in that number 53. Won stage 1 at Talladega last week. And is that close to getting stage points here at Dover and keeping that 51 from getting any.
All he's got to do is get by him, and I think this will be one of the first races this season that Bechdel hasn't gotten any stage points.
He didn't get any after I don't think he got any at Talladega last week, being involved in that wreck. As we look back up towards the front here, Jonny Rapp just needs to hold on for a couple more laps before we get the first stage caution, which will come out at lap 45. Side-by-side action, Chris Brown and Tommy Cannon. This is for 8th. Cannon has it. Brown wants it. And Brown being on that inside, at least for the moment, looks like...
Bechdel had 9 bonus points last week.
Oh, there you go. So he must have...
Second in one of the stages.
Okay. I would have to assume that was the first stage then when they called it. That would have had to have been it. As we got a caution out on track right now.
Stage 1.
Yeah. So the caution has come out here at Dover. Not entirely sure as to why.
Stage 1.
Oh, that is stage 1. Okay, my note says 45. My apologies. So the stage 1 break comes up, and for the first time this season, Jonny Rapp is a stage winner.
He had a good solid run going too, you know.
Certainly did.
So far has led every lap of this piece. And as you would expect, wholesale pit stops.
How many tires do they have?
3 total sets.
So this is probably going to be a fuel-only stop here. Get between 45 and 50 laps on a tank of fuel and tires here, with the 70% fuel fill that these guys have tonight.
Right. So yeah, I would expect fuel only for most of the guys here. Maybe if you're a little deeper back, you might decide. Evan Pienta's taken 4. No, Pienta took 2. I'm sorry.
Pienta's off and away. Yeah, looks like everybody else took 2. And Evan Pienta wins the race off of pit road. So what we're going to do is we're going to step away. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're watching the USRA's TNT Truck Series from Dover Motor Speedway. We'll be right back in just a moment. All right, my mic is on this time, I'm sure. Welcome back here to Dover Motor Speedway, and apologies to those of you who were watching the new Thunderclap Series race last night. I did not realize until we went off air last night that my mic was off for the entirety of the last 25 laps of that race, including post-race interviews. So I did notice that. Unfortunately, I noticed it way too late. As we're coming back to green, about to begin lap number 45, Evan Pienta got off pit road first, and he will lead them down, and already some guys on the outside line in the wall as we restart.
As you would expect on cold tires here, but we finally got that battle we were looking for just prior to the stage break as Pogo working his way around the top side of Jonny Rapp, and he's looking to bring Ellis Thomas with him. As looks like everybody took 2. Which like 2, I'm not sure, but everybody took 2.
Tommy Cannon looks like he took 4 in that number 47. Unless he was fixing damage, was one of the 2.
Cannon right. And Dill.
Yep. And Dan Dill, for all that racing he did with Jonny Rapp, all that irritating Jonny Rapp that he did at the end during stage 1, he's gotten himself back. He's able to stay on the lead lap and has gotten himself in fighting position.
That's all you can do sometimes is just, make sure you don't give up. As right now he's all over Tommy Cannon. And they are working on Randy Bechdel right now. Is Bechdel not having his own way of it here tonight at Dover, which is very uncharacteristic out of the 41 or 51.
Now, we've seen their teammate Chase Barry deploy this strategy all season long, and it worked to a treat at Kansas, where Chase Barry kind of lays back, hangs out, saves the tires for the first 2 stints of the race, and then in the third segment goes and says it's go time and starts to work his way up towards the front. The only race he didn't play that strategy was at the Charlotte Roval, and he won. Could the 7 of Ryan Jones and the 51 of Randy Bechdel, who both have not been nearly as aggressive as we've seen them this season, could they both kind of be playing that strategy on this type of racetrack?
Well, it's a good possibility considering that the concrete here is notorious for eating right front tires. But it's still a little too early to tell what's going to happen, as we still have a ton of racing left here, working lap 50 of 200, so right at the quarter mark this time across the stripe. Pienta showing the way. Pogo, Rapp, Thomas, Leach, your top 5.
There is Chase Barry getting around Chris Smith, who is 1 lap down at the moment. He is the first car not on the lead lap in that number 28. He's had a run of very solid finishes over the course of the last month or so. Looking to keep that up, but having to come back with some controversy. Pardon me, he's 2 laps down at the moment after disconnecting right as they were going to grid. And Jonny Rapp, as you had mentioned, getting harassed by Ellis Thomas behind him. This is the first time the 52 has really been in any forms of competitive traffic today.
Well, I mean, he may have figured something out during that first stint. I don't have to go this hard. I can go this hard, and I don't have to drive to A. I can drive to C and be okay.
He was really starting to fall off at the end of that first stage, as Jeff Pogo was not just reeling him in, he was reeling everybody in. As Pogo a quarter of the way through this race, yet to have led a lap. Ellis Thomas right now really starting to put the screws to that number 52. Right on board here with Thomas. And you'll see, we talk about it a lot when we come here to Dover. You never really understand the type of racetrack this is, because you fall down into these corners and jump up onto these straightaways, and you can see how quickly that turn 2 wall on the outside there gets to you.
Yeah, it's very easy to pancake the right side of any vehicle here. But, something to note, past handful of laps, Pogo's been one of the fastest trucks on track. Now, that last time by, Pienta found something, but he's starting to fall back into the clutches of Pogo and company. I'm worried that Evan Pienta might be doing a replay of what we saw in a couple previous seasons, where he's using his stuff up too early in the run.
Well, he had a very competitive run all the way throughout in the first stage. Now this stage will go about 10 laps longer, as I'm anticipating now that this stage break will come out on lap 90.
That's kind of what I was thinking, because I thought you said 40-50 finish.
No, I was sent 45, 90, and then 110 of 45 laps in the first stage, 50 laps in the second stage, and then 110 to the finish. So I would have to think he meant 40 now. See, still what we had at the first segment, 90 and then 110 to the finish.
That sounds about right, but the thing is just throw a blanket from Jonny Rapp in third, throw a blanket over Rapp, Thomas, and Leach, and then you've got a pretty decent gap back to Chris Brown in sixth.
Chris Brown 1.2 seconds off of this trio. It's about to become a quartet here in a second if Jeff Pogo doesn't figure something out as Ryan Jones starting to work his way up. Still in that 9th position, which is where he started this stage. But has not been able to get around anybody. Randy Bechdel, the same issue, has not gotten around anybody, but has been able to maintain position. As Chris Hone slides under the 47 of Tommy Cannon, who was all the way out to the wall in turn 1. And Cannon now jumping out of the way of Dan Dill. Cannon.
And Jones getting by Stephen Holmes for 8th. So move the 7 up 1. He's up 9 from where he started the race. So that's pretty impressive. Pogo, your current 2nd place runner, up 7. So anybody that tells you it's not possible to pass here at Dover, yeah, no, you're a fibber.
You just gotta know where you're talking about. That's it. You just gotta find the right place to do it. As Eric Wright looks to the inside and able to get a move done on Dan Dill, move right up to 12th. Chris Hone, the highest he's been all night in that number 85 Toyota Tundra. Starting to work his way back up through the field. Jonny Rapp has been passed by Ellis Thomas and is now trying to maintain position over the 13 of Jamie Leach.
Yeah, I'm thinking Rapp may have gone too hard during that first segment, and he's really paying for it here in the middle stages of the second segment as Leach using that second lane, and I think that's something we're going to see more and more guys do as the run wears on, because you just don't have the grip to make that truck stay down towards the apron.
It's back on lap 61 here. This is the pass. Ellis Thomas puts on Jonny Rapp for 3rd. Easy does it going down into turn 1. Rapp gives him enough room, and off they go. Coming out of turn 2, Ellis Thomas up to 3rd.
And he is reeling Jeff Pogo in hand over fist right now. Only about 2 truck lengths separate the two, but Thomas was one of the fastest trucks on track last time by.
He's been faster in each of the last 5 laps ever since he's gotten around. Jonny Rapp, that 80, has been quicker than the 4 in front of him. You can see by how much. A little bit less than a tenth, but that sometimes it's all you need just to be able to be right up there with somebody. Is Ellis Thomas showing some pace here tonight after starting 8th?
You know, what have we said the last couple of weeks? Ellis Thomas is due. He's had some very solid runs. He's just been caught up in other people's dumpster fires in the late goings.
Pienta, 2nd place in points coming into tonight, has not had a win this season. He's had a couple of 2nd place finishes tonight, this season. Has the 0-0. Think back to the season opener at Las Vegas, finished 2nd. Finished 2nd at Charlotte. Had a couple of 4th place finishes at Phoenix and Kansas. He's been around. Has the 0-0. Only 1 stage win this season. Then does have points for leading the most laps. That was back at the Roval. So Pienta has certainly been due. Ellis Thomas, you talk about him being due. Jonny Rapp has had a complete turnaround this season as compared to last season. Jamie Leach, a winner at North Wilkesboro last year. Chris Brown, we didn't see him at all last year, so he's hungry. Ryan Jones has a win this year back at Kansas. Bechdel, the points leader. Scott Tompkins has been on a slow run, and he's been in the wall somewhere. You can see on the right side of that number 25.
Eric Wright gets past him for 9th.
Yeah, and Eric Wright, another one, only has a stage win to his credit this season. Other than that, he's been running around right around where he is now. Is that 53. So a lot of guys do, as Ellis Thomas almost cranks the wall coming out of turn 4 rather. Trying to get to the back of that 4 of Pogo.
He was definitely flirting with disaster on that one. But what was a second lead is now down to about a truck length and a half separation as Pienta's starting to pull away. I think Pogo's feeling the pressure from Thomas, and he's changed his line just a little bit. Kind of diamonding the corner is Pogo.
Riding on board right now with Pogo, and that diamond ended a little bit earlier for Pogo than he needed it to in 1 and 2. Got those two sideways now. Contact between the two. 4 of Pogo into the wall coming off of turn 4. Ellis Thomas with right side damage as well from that. Now Jonny Rapp and Jamie Leach look to counter.
Rapp with a head of steam coming into turn number 3, going to look to the inside on Pogo. And you can see that just a ton of damage on the Thomas's truck. You can see a ton of damage on Pogo's truck. I don't think Pogo actually got into the wall. I think he just got into Thomas and was able to keep it off the wall, but that caused him a ton of momentum.
Yeah, we can see the right side of that number 4 Snap-on Tools Toyota does look pristine. Can't say that about Ellis Thomas, though, as here's the pass for second spot. Coming down into turn 3, both of these guys. Boy, and Thomas was starting to drift up the track. Pogo was starting to drift down. You can see on the replay, Pogo did catch the wall. It doesn't look like iRacing registered it, though. But those two started to merge onto the same bit of racetrack at the same time, and you can see if you look at the right rear corner of Pogo's truck, that rear spoiler is bent just a little bit.
Yeah, it's not a major issue, but it's definitely something he's going to want to be mindful of.
We've seen worse for less.
Yeah, yes, we have. You've driven worse for less.
Yes, absolutely. Don't remind me about Monday, please.
I remember the comments you were making last night in the post-race chat.
As Chandler Summers takes his number 12 Tompkins Tools Chevrolet down pit road. One of the OG Racing entrants for tonight's race. Summers has been hovering around that top 10. Tommy Cannon now coming down pit road as well. You see the right side of that truck bent up. Pretty much the back of the cab on back. As this battle for second here is quite enthralling at the moment.
Yeah, very much so. As Pogo is caught back up to Thomas, he's brought Rapp and Leach with him, and they are getting into some lap traffic. That, of course, is the 12 of Chandler Summers, who did put fresh tires on. And Pogo lays the chrome horn to Thomas going into 3.
Yeah, I can imagine that would happen, as now they're coming up on Larry Poling, a lap truck.
Ooh.
And Pogo not giving Thomas much of any room as Pogo dives to the inside. I believe they gave each other a little shot going into turn 1. That also bobbled up Rapp and Leach, and now Leach is to the inside of the 52. Rapp able to re-clear.
You know, you would think that this is Martinsville the way that they're running.
These guys
with the beating and banging.
These guys do go to Martinsville at some point this season. Round 15 of the season will be from Martinsville. I'm interested in these next 2 weeks, though. New Hampshire coming up next week, and then the first race in April for these guys. 5 Flags. That was one that we both. That was one we both circled right at the beginning of the season.
Oh, absolutely. I'm looking forward to that one because 5 Flags always leads to really good racing. Something about that Pensacola, Florida air, and the way that track has cured since its last repave. I believe it was 30 years ago now. That track becomes very, very racy very, very quickly.
It's Randy Bechdel getting around his teammate Ryan Jones. That'll put him up into the 7th position. as Evan Pienta has waltzed away from this field, and with 6 laps to go until the stage, I don't think anyone's catching that 00 at the moment. Currently 2.5 seconds clear of the second place battle, as Jonny Rapp has also gotten past Ellis Thomas.
Rapp has gotten by Thomas and has now set his sights on trying to get back by Pogo as he looks to the outside going through 2. And Pogo able to diamond that corner. He's getting the run down the hill going to the backstretch. And I dare say that that's helping Pogo's case right now. And Rapp's going to have a difficult time getting by him.
I don't think so, as here comes Jonny Rapp looking to the inside going into turn 1.
No.
And that damaged up number 4 falls in line behind the 52 of Jonny Rapp with only about 4 laps to go here before we hit the end of the stage.
I don't think Rapp gave him much choice there.
Nope. Rapp has the pace in that number 52, and Rapp has not been in front of the 4 of Pogo this entire stage. Rapp won the first stage but came out of the pits in 3rd as Randy Bechdel starting to march forward. He's now up to 6th after passing Chris Brown. He's got a lot of positions right in front of him, too.
I think Bechdel was saving tires during the early part of this stage so that he had something towards the end. He now knows what he can do towards the tail end of this event, as he's now closed in on Jamie Leach, looking to get 5th away from him.
Now the anticipation would be that these guys, whichever set they took at the first stage caution, they're going to do the opposite. So whoever took left side tires at the first stage is going to take the rights here and leave that full 4 tire set for later on in the race, because there will be a pit stop that needs to be made at the end of in the middle of the final stage. But coming off of turn 4 for the second time this season, Evan Pienta takes the stage, and Pienta dominant here in stage 2 as Jonny Rapp was really starting to close him down.
Rapp just ran out of time there. But Pienta, Rapp, Pogo, Bechdel, Thomas, Leach, Wright, Brown, Jones, and Stephen Holmes getting his last bonus point.
So Lambertville, Michigan's Evan Pienta, the winner of stage number 2. And with that, we will go to break. We'll be right back. You're watching the TNT Truck Series right here on ESBN.
And we are back at Dover, Delaware, the Monster Mile, for the latest round of the TNT Truck Series, brought to you by TickleZombie.com. And that's not working. There it is. Lights are out on the pace car. Pienta going to have the button as they work their way through the 3-4 complex one more time. Jonny Rapp going to be starting outside row number 1. Jamie Leach gaining a spot on pit road. Jeff Pogo lost a ton of spots as he's going to be restarting in 12th. As the pace car is in, Pogo holds him down as they get into the restart zone coming off of turn number 4. Pienta rolls into it. Rapp goes with him. Leach and Thomas were side by side there for a quick second. And here comes Eric Wright in the 53.
The highest up that Eric Wright has been here tonight, looking for 4th now. And he, at least for the moment, has it. Another guy who's as high up as he's been all night long, Ryan Jones in that number 7. Looking to the inside, looking for 5th. First time tonight he's been in the top 10. Ellis Thomas walls it, and the caution comes out.
Looks like Dan Dill.
There is the 11 of Dan Dill.
Oh.
We'll try to take a look and see what happened with Dan Dill. You see the damage on the right side of his truck. Let's take a look and see what happened. Oh, spun around with the 42.
And it just worked like a slingshot, got hooked with the 42, and just slung Dill into the outside wall. And that truck is about 3 feet narrower than it needs to be.
That looked a little peculiar. It's coming through 3 and 4. It looked like Thomas was letting the 2 in front of him go. And Dill just didn't realize Dill was coming.
Yeah, that's kind of what it looked like to me, too. But, well, I knew it was going to happen if I said it during the break. I said it anyways.
Well, we both said it, to be fair.
Yeah. To be fair.
To be fair. So that is our first caution of the night for incident. As Chris Brown leads a parade of guys down pit road. Now, there were a couple of guys that came down pit road under the stage brake just before the green flag came out to top off on fuel to try to see if they can go a couple laps longer than what they would have done, as these guys are now doing the same. 5.5, 6 seconds worth of fuel in the truck, and off you go again.
Pogo being one of them. Probably getting a little bit of damage fixed there, too, I would assume.
What had happened to Chris Hone? Chris Hone sitting in the grass in the infield of turn 1. And he's pulling it off. What in the world happened to him? Now, Hone did not come down pit road. Just the steering wheel janked left.
Not sure what's going on there.
Yeah, let's jump on board with him.
He's manually disconnected, too, so it could be a real-world emergency for the 85.
I think so, because it wasn't a snap like what we saw, what we've seen over the course of. I mean, we go back to the Rick Motec Truck Series. What happened with Nicholas Vroman at Chicagoland?
Oh, yeah.
Where his wheel just snapped on him. A hardware issue forced his wheel just to snap hard left down the straightaway. That eased over to the left. As if, you're right, Tony, as if he was distracted and just the truck started to just float away.
Well, we hope everything's okay with Chris and his family, but and he's back. Could have been a monitor issue.
That could very well, and we know a couple of these guys in this series run VR.
Right.
So maybe his VR died on him.
Which, since the latest Windows update, that's happened more and more a lot more than anybody wishes to ever have happen at all.
We know a couple of guys. I believe Jeff Pogo is on VR.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys coming back down pit road yet again. Just to top off on fuel as the lights go out on the safety car.
A little bit of pit strategery going on. One of them being the TickleZombie.com Ford F-150 is Stephen Holmes. And, that's something we haven't mentioned yet tonight is our good friends over at Tickle Zombies. I was I was looking at their website earlier, showing a friend of mine some of the stuff that they've got over there. I'm loving the Einstein, the new Einstein T-shirt that they've got, N+1.
I haven't seen that one.
Oh, it's freaking awesome. It's like a scene out of the movie. But if you want, you get your own classic TickleZombie.com design on a shirt, a sweatshirt. They've got draw bags. Just go over to TickleZombie.com. You have some spur-of-the-moment ideas that'll make even the undead sit up and take notice. Just some awesome designs. Head on over to TickleZombie.com and let them know that the USRA sent you.
Avery, to answer your question, I think whoever's leading at the end of lap 200 is going to win.
I see what you did there.
As Pienta leads them down, we go green. Halfway through this event, 100 down, 100 to go. As Evan Pienta rolls into turn one, he has not relinquished the lead since coming out of the pits with it at the end of stage one.
Very aggressive move out of Jamie Leach as he ran Eric Wright up the track going into one. Now goes to the inside of Jonny Rapp and just makes that move look just that easy. As Pienta already out to about a 12 truck length gap back to Leach. They're picking him up and laying him down right now, and this is impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. There's Chris Hone. You saw him on the apron coming back out onto the racetrack. So whatever issues were ailing Chris Hone, it's a pretty well-timed caution. He didn't lose nearly as much as he would have had that happened under green.
And didn't cause anywhere near as much carnage as it would have caused either.
To himself or others.
True story.
As Jonny Rapp has already fallen to about a second off of Jamie Leach. At 52 might be saving that truck a little bit more now as the 69 of Larry Poling gets into the wall. Coming out of turn four, that was Larry Poling out of 8th position. And he will fall now just outside the top 10 as Stephen Holmes gets around him. And here comes Jeff Pogo to drop him down to 12th.
Pogo's found a little bit of pace again.
Yeah, but again, he's back there because he's come down pit road to try to pack as much fuel into that truck as possible. So that damage has not ailed him in that number 4. It's just trying to play some fuel strategy. These guys are going to have to pit again at some point. Doesn't matter how much fuel they pack in now. All they're doing is just delaying the pit stop as Eric Wright is all over the back of the 52 of Jonny Rapp.
Wright's giving a Rapp all he can handle right now. And you've got to think that if Rapp is paying any attention to it, it's got to be rattling him just a little bit. Not a lot, but enough to make him switch up his line ever so slightly as he's picked up the pace a little bit. About 4/10 to the good over Wright that last time by. So they did swap that speed differential. But the question is, with Wright being as close as he is he using up that right front being in the arrow wash?
Two OG Racing teammates battling for the 3rd position right now. Only one driver on track is currently running in the 23-second bracket. That is Evan Pienta. The next fastest truck is Stephen Holmes running a 24:10. So Pienta 0.3 quicker than the next fastest truck on track right now.
Half a second quicker than Jamie Leach has been running.
Yep.
And I have to ask, is he going too hard too soon? As now Ryan Jones starting to reel in Eric Wright.
Wright starting to fall off the back of Rapp, and Jones now starting to work his way up as Wright lightly grazes the wall coming out of turn 4. Right side of that number 53 still looks clean. Ellis Thomas there as well. Evan Pienta holding off Scott Tompkins and Stephen Holmes at the moment. This is the highest that Bechdel has been here tonight, is 7th.
Up 3 from where he started, but the two biggest movers right now are your battle for 4th place. Eric Wright up 10 from where he started. Ryan Jones up 12 from where he started. And not a whole lot of love lost between those two, as they've had some issues in the past.
They have. As Wright now starting to close the gap back in on the 52 of Rapp. Rapp 1.5 seconds off of Jamie Leach, and you had mentioned it during the break, Tony. You see the line that Jamie Leach is running. That outside groove is starting to rubber in, and it's starting to work as these guys look to diamond these corners more often. Leach running right smack in the middle of the racetrack. He's not catching Evan Pienta, but he's certainly pulling away from the guys behind him.
He's maintaining a real nice gap to Rapp, and it's going to be work for Rapp to get by him if he does catch him. Now, Rapp did gain a couple of tenths there that last lap, but still, there's a lot of racing left to do, as now Leach is into the lap traffic. That's the 42 of Paul Thomas that he's working around.
Had to really swing down low to avoid running into the back of the 42. As Evan Pienta has already pulled out a darn near 5-second lead on the rest of the field, running a 24-2 the last time by, now a 24-3-0 the last lap around. Pienta is absolutely flying in this 0-0 right now, looking to get that first win of the season and close in even more points on Randy Bechdel than he did last week.
But is he going too hard? That seems to be the MO that we've seen a lot this season, is somebody gets out into the lead, you have nobody to reference yourself off of, so you don't know how hard you're going until they just blow right by you in the closing ends of a tire run.
Taking my material, because I'm usually the one that brings that up.
I learned from the best. What can I say?
Don't. Thank you, though.
Too late.
It's Jonny Rapp. Still unable to shake the 53. Eric Wright has been able to shake the 7. As now Ellis Thomas starting to really hound the back end of that 7 of Ryan Jones.
Thomas has got to make something happen, because right now he's in a payday sandwich.
Certainly is. It's Chris Brown and Scott Tompkins battling side by side. This is for 9th. Tompkins able to hold off on that outside line, and that's not something we saw at the beginning of this race. So Track Evolution certainly starting to take over as they're putting Chandler Summers a lap down. Track Evolution certainly becoming a thing as that outside groove starting to rubber in, helping these guys on the outside line try to defend.
Yeah, absolutely. Is Eric Wright working past Dan Dill. That cost Wright a little bit of time, as
that's Ryan Jones working past Dill now. And perfectly for Ryan Jones, Dill split Jones and Thomas, at least for the moment. Give Jones a little bit of breathing room from that 80.
Yeah, but it did hold up Randy Bechdel just a little bit as he caught Dill on the exit of 2, and just unfortunately nowhere to go. But just like that, Thomas right on the tailgate of Jones one more time.
Ellis Thomas is a quick little hot rod tonight. Same thing we saw back in the the second stage. Speaking of things we saw in the second stage, One thing we're not seeing in the second stage is Evan Pogo.
Huh?
Did I say Evan? Wow, you've been calling.
Yes, you did.
You've been calling Pienta Pogo all night, and I do it once.
You're welcome.
At least I made it spectacular. Is Jeff Pogo? We saw the run he made at the beginning of the race to get himself from 9th to 2nd by the end of stage 1. He has not gone anywhere here in this stage, still running outside the top 10, 1.2 seconds off of Scott Tompkins and Chris Brown. This is the battle for 10th. This is the battle for 9th.
But the thing is, we've seen it time and time again out of that number 4. The later the run goes, the longer we stay green, the stronger the 4 becomes.
Won here last season. Did Pogo, looking for 3 of the last 4 races he'll end up in victory lane if he were to win here tonight. 1 at Milwaukee, 1 at Talladega. There's Jonny Rapp up here for 3rd. Rapp still about a second, 1.2 seconds behind Jamie Leach, so that gap is maintaining. Eric Wright is still right on the back of Jonny Rapp, and now Wright has gotten away from Jones as Jones has pushed Ellis Thomas back into Randy Bechdel.
Yeah, Jones is starting to struggle here. And it's kind of surprising because, and as Bechdel looking to the inside of Thomas now.
Bechdel going for that 6th position, clips the apron on the inside of 3 and 4, still gets the move done. So move Randy Bechdel up to 6th. Jonny Rapp still cannot shake that 53, but they're really starting to pull in on Jamie Leach. We'll take a look at the last couple of laps. They've pulled in 0.2 of a second on Leach over these last 2 laps. We'll see what they do here. Pulled in 0.3 of a second. Is that outside line not really working for Leach the way it was in the beginning of the run?
I think it's part of the line that he's been running. He's squaring that corner off on corner exit, and it's costing him just a little bit of momentum.
The point of the diamond is to come down the hill, is to start at the bottom, let the car drift up, and then try to straight line it as best you can off of the corner to help you get that straight line speed advantage down the straightaway. If you cut it too soon, you really put yourself at a disadvantage because you have to turn out of it. 9 times out of 10, you're going to have to let off because you're not set up to exit the corner properly, and that hurts you even more.
It looks like Leach isn't diamonding as much as he's trying to late apex, because he's not really diving it in going into 1 or 3. He's just doing a wide arc and then exiting low. So he's kind of running the Milwaukee line.
We'll see here as he enters, in the middle, drifts up a little bit, and he's right on the line as he come out. So I think he is doing more what you're saying, and that is definitely hurting him as compared to Jonny Rapp and Eric Wright, who were just staying on the bottom the whole way through the corner.
Working lap 131 of 200 here for the TNT Truck Series. TickleZombie.com. Dover 200. Tony Trapasso and Frank Marchese up in the booth with you tonight. Want to thank everybody for joining us in the live chat. Let us know who you're rooting for, who you're pulling for. Go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. It really helps share it with the YouTube algorithm. The more thumbs up, the more YouTube is going to say to other people going, hey, you might want to check this out. And that's really what we want to do, is just bring these videos to the masses. And if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button and turn on bell notifications so you don't miss a single moment of action this season or during the week, because, Frank, we've got most of the week it's double and triple headers with that quadruple header coming up on Sunday.
Absolutely. And you guys sharing these videos around and liking these videos certainly helped us last night pick up one incredible race, the Thunderclap Stock Car iRacing Series, coming to ESBN in a last-second run last night. And boy, did they put on a spectacular race at Daytona last night. They'll be in Phoenix in these trucks next week. But coming up tomorrow, it'll be a triple header as the Circle B Diecast Super Speedway Series will be at Daytona, I believe in the Xfinity cars, if I remember correctly, tomorrow night.
I believe you're correct, yes.
Yeah, that'll be an 8:20 p.m. Eastern time start. I didn't update any of the times. Then after that, it'll be the Wicked Sim Racing League. They will have their season debut. They were supposed to debut earlier in the month. I believe the 11th was when they were supposed to debut. They pushed it back a couple of weeks to make sure they had everything right. They will open up their season this upcoming tomorrow. That made sense. At Daytona, that'll be an 8:45 p.m. Eastern time start. The KMM New Gen Cup Series will be at the Nashville Super Speedway tomorrow night at 9:20. That'll be the third of 3 races. And then at 3:20 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday, the iFormula Championship will run the American Grand Prix at Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. And we will be there pretty soon to broadcast a race, I do believe. I know Rowdy's not going to be going there this week. They're going to be figuring out another plan. But as far as I believe, we have a league that's going there very soon, I think.
Sure, you're going to put it on me.
Well, no, I wasn't really putting it on you. It was just questioning. That was an open-ended question.
I think you are correct.
Well, that was good enough. That was the answer I needed. I think I'm also correct in saying that Evan Pienta has really found something in this truck that has been worthwhile. And the last thing he is going to want to see is a caution, because he has opened up a 6.5 second lead, has that 00 on Jamie Leach, and we're about 10 to 15 laps away from pitting here. These guys are going to be taking 2 tires. For those guys who took 4 during the stage break, which was a majority of them, 2 tires upcoming for the final 50 laps of this race. Chase Barry comes down pit road. He'll be the first of the leaders to come down pit road from 13th. Is where Barry comes down from. Still, this battle here has been intense from Leach, Rapp, and Wright. Wright has pushed Rapp all the way through this segment. And Leach has fallen right back to them.
Just did a little research. It might be Western States going to Dakota the week of Easter.
There you go. See, I knew I was right.
There's a non-points race that week.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
But we'll be broadcasting from there, so that's...
There you go.
Still just about a quarter of this race left to go. We've had only one caution for incident here tonight, and that was back on lap 97.
Dan Dillon and Paul Thomas getting into each other to bring out the one and only incident caution tonight.
Yep. The other 2 cautions have been for stage breaks, as Pienta is now starting to get reeled in a little bit. Nothing too crazy. He's lost a couple of tenths, but nothing too insane. That lead is now 5.5 seconds. Just a couple of laps to go before these guys are going to start diving onto pit road for the final time tonight. I think Pienta's getting ready to do it now. He is.
Well, the answer to the question I was about to ask is who's going to be the first one of the leaders to blink, as Leach is going to stay out and get that all-important bonus point for leading the lap. Leach into the wall, Rapp into the wall, right into the wall.
You're right. Both of them went right into the wall.
All three of them did.
Oh, you meant right. Oh, never mind.
Yeah. No, come on. You're the straight man. Leave the comedy to me.
Jamie Leach dives off of pit road. Jonny Rapp in the lead of the race for the first time tonight since winning stage 1. Only 2 unique drivers have managed to lead laps here tonight. That would be the 00 and the 52.
As you do here. But, you got to wonder, with about a 2-second fall off on the tires, how much longer are these guys going to be able to stay out as Ellis Thomas peels off to get his service done?
And are these guys that haven't been pit farming, now there's only 4 left. Those 4 would be Jonny Rapp, Eric Wright, Ryan Jones, and Randy Bechdel. Those are the only 4, and they're our top 4 right now. Are these guys going to be able to make it the rest of the way on fuel? Because if you can go 45 to 50 laps, Pienta came in on 145. He's got to go 55 laps to the rest of to the end of this race. The other guys that came in on lap 99, they can make it another couple of laps and know that they're going to be good.
Well, I dare say we're going to find out. That caution may have helped a little bit, but we are definitely going to find out here in the next few laps, as Jonny Rapp just starting to walk away right now.
And it's not going to be a tire issue. These guys are using their last set or half a set of tires that they have right now. So it's not going to be a tire issue as to whether the tires can last. It is purely a fuel mileage issue for the rest of the race.
Pienta and Leach both took 4.
Yep, that they did. Ryan Jones in,
Rapp's
Jeff Pogo in, Poling in, Rapp in, Wright in. Bechdel stays out to lead a lap.
Be the first lap he's led all night so far.
And he'll be our 4th unique leader. I apologize. Jamie Leach did lead the lap before coming down into pit road. So he'll be our 4th unique leader of the evening. And here comes Bechdel down pit road now. Chris Brown will follow. And this is a very difficult pit road to get onto. Forget about the fact that pit road speed is a mind-numbing 35 miles an hour. It's in a very awkward place going through 3 and 4. You have to really start braking for pit road on the backstretch if you want any hope of making it down there.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is why they give you that little cutout going into 3 to make sure that you can get down there. And Pienta, just like that, back to the point.
Back up to the race lead, and he's got quite an advantage over Jamie Leach at the moment. A 9-second lead for the 00 over the 13. But again, these two are going to be in some serious fuel mileage saving moments here, as they are going to have to hold off and save the rest of this race if they want to make it. Now, Chase Barry can almost guarantee he's not going to be able to make it after coming in on lap 139. Ellis Thomas came in on 147. He's probably not going to be able to make it. He's on the borderline, but he's on the long end of the pit cycle. Everybody else who came in beyond lap 150 is going to be close, but they're on the good side.
Unless we go into overtime.
Yes, then everyone's going to have to come in regardless.
Right. As Jonny Rapp just resets the quickest lap of the race with a 23:09.
Incredible lap from that 52. Started on pole, led the entirety of the first stage. And has been no lower than third on track tonight.
Question is he going too hard too soon? And I would dare say the answer to that is yes. But he's doing what he can to try to reel in Jamie Leach, which he's already caught 2 seconds out of Leach's gap to him. Meanwhile, the gap to Evan Pienta is still at about 10 seconds dead.
8.2 seconds the gap between the 00 and the 13. As this is part of the reason why that gap has not shot up. Pienta is stuck in heavy traffic. And he's not going to catch Paul Thomas in a good area coming out of turn 2. It's going to cost him a little bit more time, and now has the 17 of Chase Barry and the 28 of Chris Smith battling side by side in front of him. Barry trying to avoid being put a lap down. Barry in 9th. Chris Brown in 10th. Brown is the first car a lap down at the moment. As here comes Pienta under Chase Barry. Looking to put the 9th place man a lap down.
And Barry, not given an inch right now, does not want to be a lap down. And this is that time of the race where we've seen Chase Barry turn the wick up. And I dare say he's starting to do that now with the lap times he's laying down. That was a pucker moment.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier on tonight, that when guys are coming out of turn 2 and 4 side by side with how quick that wall comes out at you, it tends to make the top car flinch towards the middle of the racetrack. And that's what you saw there between the 00 and the 136. 00 thought he got a little bit too close to the wall, and they both ended up moving way down the racetrack.
And just like that, Chase Barry has caught his teammate, Ryan Jones, as they come out of turn number 2, almost 3 wide. Good grief.
Boy, Jones cheese gratering the wall down the back straightaway as they came up on him at a right rate of knots. And Ryan Jones, who just has not had it tonight, finds himself a lap down now, running in 10th. So here comes Evan Pienta now on Chase Barry to put him a lap down. And Barry not giving it up easy as they're 3 wide coming out of turn 4. Barry gives up the spot, and Chris Brown is going to be the benefactor of it. He not only gets the position, but he gets his lap back.
Yeah, Brown just followed Pienta through and then got a twofer out of it.
What a cheeky little move by Chris Brown.
And Brown has some pace because he's starting to pull away from Pienta.
Yeah, he does. Let's take a look at this again. It's on board of Chris Brown. Sees the run coming out of turn 4.
Uh-oh.
And has the line. And the caution is out.
Oh, don't do it. Don't do it. Yep, you did it.
Caution is out. There's Paul Thomas sitting right in the middle of the road. And that will be caution number 2 here this evening. It will put Chase Barry back on the lead lap via the lucky dog.
Goody. It was Brown and Dill again.
We'll take a look at what happened here between Paul Thomas and Dan Dill. Dill slides up, and
Thomas doesn't like it.
I don't know if that was a Thomas doesn't like it or if that was just momentum taking him in. Let's get another look here. These two now have been the cause of both incident cautions we've had here tonight. Take a look off the back of Dan Dill. He's going to come up around the inside. Swings up in front of the 42. I mean, from where he was on the racetrack, would have to assume that was him checking up to not hit the wall out of 4. You see that trail of smoke there. It doesn't really matter. His night is over. Evan Pienta went down pit road early before the lane was open. Or was it before the lane was open? 137, 160. No, I think he was good.
Right as the lane opened,
Yep,
he and Jamie Leach went down, and Jamie Leach had another set of tires on the wall.
So Jamie Leach is going to be in beautiful position right now.
Thomas and Barry both coming down to top off with fuel.
Yep. So Jonny Rapp will assume the race lead. Jeff Pogo, Larry Poling, Ryan Jones, Chandler Summers, and Scott Tompkins will all get laps back via the wave around. Tompkins 2 laps down, Summers 2 laps down, Poling 5, he'll go 4 now. Ryan Jones will get back on the lead lap. Jeff Pogo will get back on the lead lap. And unfortunately for Chris Smith, this man cannot catch a break tonight as he started 3 laps down. He's got a couple of his laps back, but he is now the only car 1 lap down.
Good news is if we see one more caution, he'll be back on the lead lap.
Absolutely.
The bad news is we don't want to see another caution.
Unless Larry Poling decides to go down pit road here, he's going to get one of his laps back. And Poling will go down pit road here, surrendering the wave around. So it'll be Jonny Rapp, Eric Wright, Randy Bechdel, Stephen Holmes, and Chris Brown. The top 5. Now those top 5 did not come down pit road under this caution to either top off to make sure they were good to go the rest of the way or take tires. Evan Pienta topped off. He'll restart from 6, so he now knows he's good to go the rest of the way and did not take tires. Tony, as you had mentioned, Jamie Leach came down pit road, took 4 in fuel, so he is going to be in a great position right now. Ellis Thomas came down pit road to top off. Chase Barry, 4 tires and fuel under this caution. So some of these guys taking full advantage as Tony, we get set to go back to green.
Absolutely. As the field works its way under the Ally Bridge behind the official iRacing pace car, Jonny Rapp going to have the button. He's going to elect to restart on the inside of Eric Wright. Wright's up 12 positions from where he started this piece. And don't look now, but that's Randy Bechdel into your top 5 as well, restarting in 3rd. Pace car is in. Poling tags onto the tail end of the field coming out of turn number 4. Rapp pulls the trigger, and we are back underway as Wright and Bechdel both go with him. Stephen Holmes a little bit asleep at the switch there, going to drop into 4th as they're side by side behind him with Brown and Pienta.
Pienta trying to work that outside. We saw how quick he was when he was set free in stage at the beginning of stage 2 and in stage 3. Pienta trying to get back up to the front as quickly as he can, knowing that he does not have to save on fuel now. Jamie Leach also going to be very keen to get through these guys to try to make a run for the race win on the 4 tires.
Leach getting held up just a little bit by Brown coming through 1 and 2. A field pretty single filed out right now. Rapp showing the way with about a 4 car lengths gap back to Stephen Wright. Bechdel about a car length and a half back to Wright. So Wright has a little bit of breathing room as Stephen Holmes reels in Randy Bechdel.
Certainly does, as Holmes hanging right in there. Here comes Chris Brown. makes the pass on Evan Pienta. Jamie Leach tried to follow, didn't have enough room to be able to make that pass. As Leach still trying to work his way forward. Here's Chase Barry now trying to work his way forward. He's battling for 7th. He was just a lap down a minute ago.
And he just reset the quickest lap of the race a couple laps ago with a 23:08. So
he is rolling right now in that 17. Here he goes now for 6. Chase Barry. Boy, what a run this 17 has turned out to be having. He only needed to start racing at lap 170.
I mean, that's been his MO the last couple of times he's gotten podium finishes. You know, he's been quiet the first half of the race, first 3/4 of the race. Save that final set of tires for a late run caution. Get the caution in a timely fashion. Put those final 4 sets of tires, 4 tires on, and eat everybody else's lunch. As now he's working on the back of Chris Brown, going into 3 side by side. 17 on the low side of Barry. 136 of Brown on the high side. Barry going to get the move done, coming off of 4. Now sets his sights on the 9 of Stephen Holmes.
The only race we haven't seen him use that lay back and wait strategy was the Charlotte Roval, where he won. Other than that, that lay back and wait strategy has worked very, very handsomely for that number 17, and he's working handsomely right now as he's immediately up into 4th position with his teammate Randy Bechdel in front.
3/10 quicker than his teammate the last time across the stripe. Barry looking to get another podium this season. As they work their way down the back straightaway, Rapp still shows the way, right within striking distance. Randy Bechdel trying to turn his season back around as he's had some dismal finishes the last couple of weeks. Jeez, that was close.
17 finished 2nd at Dover last season to Jeff Pogo. So this 17 of Chase Barry knows how to get it done around here. Speaking of Pogo, he's just gotten into the top 10 as the damage from the contact with the 80 of Ellis Thomas has really messed that truck up. A lot worse than it has Ellis Thomas, and this is kind of the issue with Jeff Pogo. Is I believe that Scott Tompkins around. Scott Tompkins in pit road. What happened to Tompkins?
Green. Let me go look.
We're watching now. Oh, ran right into the back of the 42. What in the world was the 42 doing? We're going to have to see this here. Just running slow in the racing line, and the 25 comes out of turn 4, and off he goes.
I don't know what's been going on with the 42 the past couple of races, but...
And this is him after that. Nosing it into the inside wall off of pit exit, or just running up next to pit exit, and just calling it a night.
And while that's going on, battle for second. Chase Barry wrestles second place away from Eric Wright. Now sets his sights on reeling in Jonny Rapp. Fresh tires for Barry in second place. Can he get that next step higher on the podium than he did last season here? We are about to find out, as we are 18 to go at the stripe.
And Jamie Leach also has those fresh tires, but he has not had nearly the run that Chase Barry has had. Evan Pienta has fallen down to 8th. So the man who has had the best car here tonight is most likely not going to win this event unless something big happens, as here comes Chase Barry looking for the race lead. 17 to the point, looking for his second win of the season. Barry to the race lead, 15 laps to go.
Is Barry going to become the third driver this season to get 2 wins on the season? We are about to find out as Barry starts to pull a gap on Jonny Rapp. Randy Bechdel has gotten around Eric Wright. So Bechdel back into a podium position. The question is, does Wright have anything to battle back with? as we are 16 to go. Barry, Rapp, Bechdel, Wright, Brown, your top 5.
And a great night it turns out being for Randy Bechdel after such an off race. It seemed as though all race long that 51 has showed up now exactly when he needed to in a podium position, as his other championship rivals, Evan Pienta and Jeff Pogo, have all fallen off. He is right there when he needs to be, as Ryan Jones has spun around at the inside of turns 1 and 2.
Far enough down onto the apron that we stay green.
He's right on the line, and he will get it rolling. Jones, of all of the payday guys having off nights, just collides with Larry Poling going into turn 1, and that's a lazy mistake that all drivers have made at one point or another. Just that momentary lapse of concentration, and you turn down on a guy that's clearly inside of you.
13 to go. Chase Berry with almost a 1.5 gap back to second place. Jonny Rapp, your pole sitter. Randy Bechdel, your points leader, currently sitting in third. Starting to reel Rapp in a little bit. Is he going to have enough time to get up there and have a payday 1-2?
Ellis Thomas looking to the inside of Evan Pienta, that for 8th. As that'll be the last position that Pienta is going to be in danger of losing. As Jeff Pogo 8 seconds off of this pair. 28, 1 lap down. Chris Hone, multiple laps down. After an issue forced him to leave and come back. Jonny Rapp now getting pressure from Randy Bechdel. Randy Bechdel into second position going into turn 1. Rapp can't quite put the move back on him in the middle of 1 and 2. He got the run coming off at 2, though. Here comes the 52 looking for second again. Not quite.
And Rapp's got to be careful if he tries to make a move on Bechdel. Wright is right there. Bechdel, Rapp, and Wright. Your battle for second, 3-car tango right now, as we are 10 to go. It'll be 9 at the stripe. Chase Berry is almost the entirety of the front or back straightaway away from this battle.
So Chase Berry, 2.5 seconds clear of these 3. And not that far behind, Chris Brown has a real look at Stephen Holmes has a real good look at Chris Brown. That would be for to get into the top 5 here tonight. So Holmes still very much has that ability. He's been quicker than that 136. Just can he make the move?
Well, he's running out of time. He's going to have to get it figured out pretty quick here.
Certainly is.
As Eric Wright all over the tailgate of that Mission Barbecue number 51 or 52 of Jonny Rapp. We are 7 to go at the stripe.
Oh! That was hard into the wall for Rapp coming out of turn 4. The OCD in me is happy right now, I can tell you.
Why is that?
51, 52, and 53, all in numerical order.
No, I keep telling you, you don't suffer from OCD, you suffer from CDO. That's when you're so OCD, you need the letters OCD in alphabetical order.
Yeah.
Tell me I'm wrong, I dare you.
I can't spot the lie, unfortunately. As Eric Wright has been trying to make this move on Jonny Rapp for the last 100 laps and just can't quite get the momentum and get into the right spot to be able to make the pass.
Well, he's got 5 miles to get it figured out, as we are 5 to go right now. Chase Berry in command of this one over his teammate Randy Bechdel by almost 2 3/4 seconds.
Payday 1-2. OG Racing 3-4. Gateway 5-6. The team pairing here is quite nice.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely something kind of cool. As we are going to be 3 to go this time across the stripe, Chase Berry continues to just command the closing laps of this race at Dover. 200 laps, the scheduled distance. Chase Berry took the lead with about 20 to go.
Yep. And Barry has been rolling ever since. Randy Bechdel, who has been in absolutely nowhere land all race, just hanging out, borderline top 10. We saw him about 5 seconds off of 11th during the first stage of this race. Has found himself to be right up here at the end. A solid points night for him. Jonny Rapp still holding off Eric Wright. And if Wright's going to make a move, he's going to have to do it in the next mile or so. But it looks as though Rapp is placing that truck perfectly and in the right spots in order to be able to make that position hold. As Chase Berry comes through turn 2, we talked about Jeff Pogo winning 2 of the last 3 races. This is the man who won that middle race. Chase Berry will come through turns 3 and 4. He will now take 2 of the last 3. Chase Berry gets his second win of the season by winning here at Dover.
Bechdel hanging on for second, and Jonny Rapp just barely able to hold off his teammate Eric Wright for the final step of the podium. Chris Brown hanging on for 5th. Stephen Holmes coming home in 6th. 7th going to Jamie Leach. Evan Pienta in 8th. Ellis Thomas 9th. Rounding out your top 10 is the aforementioned Jeff Pogo. After getting heavy contact from Ellis Thomas earlier in the race from the lead, Pogo able to rebound to a top 10.
So a fantastic night here for these guys as the reverse victory lap will commence for Chase Berry. As Tony, I believe you are with our race winner right now.
Chase Berry, what a finish, sir. And hopefully you're going to be able to get this victory lap all the way without hand grenading the engine. But that KB's all-around shop, number 17, saving that final set of tires to the end. Pit strategy to perfection, sir. Congratulations on your second win of the season.
Oh, thank you. That was interesting. That's for sure. That was definitely interesting.
Oops.
Sure. But yeah, no, I was interested. I had nothing for these guys, and I know, Randy, Jonny, and all of us. We was talking about strategy, saving gas, and well, they were faster than me, and so I went back with old reliable, save a set, and hope and pray and get lucky, and it happened.
That caution came out at the tail end of this piece just at the right time for you to be able to use those final 4 tires. Talk us through just how differently this truck handled on the old tires compared to the new.
Well, yeah, that's it handled like a dream for a little bit. It was fine. Like I said, I went like 139, 129 on the set we started with, so it handled a lot better than what it was. That's for dang sure.
Well, I mean, you did have a couple of pucker moments there in the mid race with lap cars kind of getting in your way, but in the closing laps, you definitely had the truck to beat. Did you know once you got clear of Randy that you were going to be able to reel in Jonny?
Yeah. I mean, like, not trying to sound all cocky or nothing, but like, I felt like I was like, all right, I know my tires are like 15, 20 laps better. So, and I was just, just qualifying lap, Q lap, Q lap, Q lap, Q lap. And then once I got around him, I was like, all right, I felt like, and then I've raced around Jonny, like pretty much all my life. I know he'll race me clean and etc. So I just hoped and waited for the moment and went on it. And then, yeah, here we are.
Well, here's a little tidbit you might not be aware of. You do have the fastest lap of the race with a 23:08. So congratulations to you on that. Congratulations to you on your second win of the season. second win in 3 weeks, so second driver of the season to do that, only the third driver to go second win on the season. Just talk us through the strategy that you've been using that seems to be working on the ovals for you, where you kind of lay back and try to keep the truck clean in the first half of the race, save that final set of tires, and then have something for these guys at the end.
Oh yeah, like I planned on doing that. Like I said, at the beginning of the year, it was like because just the stage racing has changed so much, and just like with me, like I feel like saving tires are actually is really good for me. Like, but I'm really slow when I save tires. So when I try to save tires and run, I burn them up faster than I trying to save. So I just poke around if there's wrecks. I'll read it. If it's been like a long green flag run and stuff, I'll try to get up a little faster. But if I have a gut feeling there's gonna be a caution or something, we'll wing it and play around with it. But like I said, it's all luck, man. Like I wasn't the best car. The best cars were Jonny and Randy. I just got lucky with a set of tires. Like I'm just lucky.
Well, like my father once told me, the best truck on the track is the one that takes a checkered flag, and you, sir, had that tonight. Congratulations. Who do you need to thank before we turn you loose?
Thank you guys for putting on the broadcast. And this league has been fun. Randy, Jonny, and all the boys back at the shop, etc. They know who they are. Yeah, we're just gonna have some fun.
Chase Berry, congratulations. Burn them down, sir. You've earned it.
I can't. I blew it up.
Fair enough. We'll see you next week, sir.
All right, Temple.
So that was Chase Berry, and I believe you have his teammate with you now, Frank.
I believe I do. Randy Bechdel, second place finisher here tonight. And it looked like the Chase Berry special, lay back and wait, was kind of the strategy for you here tonight as well.
The first stage, I was really just running my own race because I don't know if you guys got it in qualifying, but I kept pretty loose off 4, so that got me back there. So I had to change up a little bit. So I was just saving my tires the first full stage there. Then second stage, we started passing some people. And last stage, we just had that clutch game on, trying to save fuel. I know that's why Evan got a huge lead on us, because he was just going the balls of the wall, and we were clutching, saving. So we were good without even having to save in our last caution. So good night.
Yeah, absolutely. A solid finish from what it appeared as though you were going to have. How difficult was it to try to work your way through this field when you wanted to tonight? There's really only one lane coming out of these corners and going into them to try to make a move. What was it like trying to get through guys tonight?
It's all about getting that run. For me, it was just trying to run a little bit higher than them and diamonding it more off the corner to get the run to get under them. Other than that, it was pretty hard to pass people without doing it. It's a tough little place to pass.
And we go to another tough little place to pass. Next week, we go to New Hampshire. What are your thoughts going up north to complete the first half of the season?
I think we're gonna do all right. I'm a fan of the flatter tracks, so we'll see. I'm not quite sure how the fuel percentage, what we're getting next for that race and stuff, but should be kind of interesting to figure out what the strategy and stuff will be there.
All right. Anybody else you want to thank before we let you go?
I want to say congrats to Chase. He definitely got that set strategy worked out. But thanks to Ryan, teammate Jonny for P3, Eric. I think Eric Wright. He got top 5, I think. Chris Hone, Jeff, and Eric for putting USRA, and of course you two guys for broadcast.
All right. Your second place finisher tonight, Randy Bechdel. Bud, congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
All right, and that will leave Tony with our third place finisher tonight. That would be Jonny Rapp.
Jonny Rapp, all things considered, hard-fought podium finish. We saw you slugging it out with your teammate Eric Wright there in the closing laps. But just talk us through how that pit strategy played out towards the end.
Yeah, so I I think I was in pretty good shape if the caution didn't come out. I mean, the other guys were going to either have to save a lot of gas or pit again. And I mean, I I don't know. I think they might have been able to save enough under caution, but I don't know. But that messed me up. I think I had the if it went green, I was in pretty good shape. But then yeah, the caution comes out. It's full send at that point, so I wore my tires out, and Chase had a set sitting aside, so there he is.
Well, we go to a track that kind of does fall into your wheelhouse next week as we go to that flat 1 miler up in Loudon, New Hampshire. Your thoughts going into that race?
Yeah, it's a track I didn't really like at first, but I think that's another one I got a lot better at. So I might be back up front. I don't know. I don't want to say yes, like give you a definite that I'll be there, but I still got some work to do. I put a lot of time in this week, but I don't know if I'm going to put that much time in for New Hampshire. You know what I mean?
All right, Johnny, we're going to let you go celebrate the podium with your team, but who do you need to thank before we let you do that?
I want to thank Chase, Randy. Huge shout out to Eric. That was a hell of a finish there at the end. And then, my dad's watching. I don't know if my sister's watching tonight. If so, shout out to her. And you guys for putting the show on. Always doing a great job. And, Jeff and Eric and all them that put the league on. And we appreciate it.
All right, Johnny, again, congratulations on the podium. Best of luck to you next week.
All right. Thank you.
Quite a string of podiums that Jonny Rapp has been on. It's his second consecutive podium, I believe his third or fourth of the season that he has had this season. So a wonderful run that he has had over the course of this year, especially as compared to last season. But Tony, another solid night here at Dover. Going into New Hampshire next week, we know it's a very difficult racetrack. We saw a great race at Milwaukee, very similar, those two types of racetracks. It's going to be another good one next week.
They are similar, but there's a lot of differences.
Yes.
Being as the fact that Milwaukee, you can kind of run a lower line through the corners and make it work. You really have to be about a truck width and a half up off the bottom groove to have any sort of speed around New Hampshire. So we're going to see that second lane and the rim riding come into effect more next week than we have previously this season so far. But if what they did last season is any indication of what we can look forward to, folks, you're not going to want to miss a single second of racing next week.
No, absolutely not. It's going to be a great, great night for racing next week to close out the month of March here. But we'll close out the broadcast here tonight, as we usually do, by taking a look at the results. Chase Barry takes his second win of the season here tonight, capturing the race victory, 2.3 seconds over Randy Bechdel. Jonny Rapp collects another podium. We just heard from those three. Eric Wright and Chris Brown, your top five finishers. Stephen Holmes, Jamie Leach, Evan Pienta, Ellis Thomas, and Jeff Pogo round out the top 10. Chris Smith and Chandler Summers rounding out the top half of the field, Tony.
Chris Holm coming home in 13th, 14th going to Larry Poling. Ryan Jones, a night he'd just as soon forget, coming home in 15th. Scotty Tompkins in 16th. Dan Dill, troubles all night long, coming home in 17th. Paul Thomas in 18th. Tommy Cannon in 19th. And Mike Mock putting it on the hauler real early, coming home in 20th.
So 3-4 DNFs here tonight as we wrap up here from Dover Motor Speedway. As we'll look ahead, coming up here on ESBN, tomorrow night is a triple header. The Circle B Diecast Super Speedway Series will be at Daytona in the Xfinity car tomorrow night. That'll be an 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time start. Then the season opener for Wicked Sim Racing, they will be at Daytona as well at 8:45. The KMM New Gen Cup Series will be at Nashville Super Speedway at 9:20 to round out the triple header on Friday night. And then the beginning of the quadruple header on Sunday will be the iFormula Championship, the American Grand Prix from Circuit of the Americas. That will be a 3:20 p.m. Eastern Time start. So for my broadcast partner, Tony Trapasso, I am Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for making us a part of your evening. We will see you next week from New Hampshire. Good night, everybody.